My saddest middle school experience. You gotta add a couple more keywords to that, like the saddest middle school experience ever in the history of the world, 18 plus, gone sexual, try not to cringe, throw in a little bit of like anime tits in there, and we've got ourselves a good video. A while ago when I first started making kind of gameplay vlog videos, I guess what you would call them, I used to do like a shitload of personal stories and things like that back then. And I thought, it's been quite a while since I've done any kind of personal stories or anything of that nature, so I thought I'd pick it back up. Oh, he did. And what better game to play while talking about a middle school experience than the game I played the most in middle school, Call of Duty 4. Now, just recently I bought an Xbox 360 because I wanted to play old 360 games and mainly a lot of the older CODs, COD 4, MW2, MW3. And how lucky of me to be able to go to GameStop, look at COD 4, and look at it say exactly $3 for the Xbox 360. So fuck yeah, I bought that and here we are. So middle school Bricky was a different kind of Bricky. He was a little bit chubbier. He was just kind of like a little bit more awkward, only had a couple major friends back in middle school. I kind of didn't really say anything very much, not in the class, not outside of class. I was just kind of doing my own thing. I wasn't like all super awkward and weird. I just didn't really like to talk, Also, couldn't speak to girls that well. Very bad at it. Immediately when I would start talking to them, my face would just blow up into a tomato. I was like red-faced 90% of the time I talked to anyone of the opposite gender. So I went to a middle school called Don 1, I think it's Avila or Avila or something like that. And that was down in South Orange County. So this was like 7th grade or something like that, and that means you had social studies, which was basically just, history at the time. But 7th grade was kind of like, world social studies. It's not American history, it was world history, old school history, back in the day kind of stuff. So my teacher was a really, really awesome guy. He was kind of considered like, if you got this social studies teacher in 7th grade, you were like the lucky one. Like, oh, you got him? Holy shit, that's awesome. Kind of thing, Every school had like that teacher that everyone just really wanted to get, because you didn't really get a choice or any say in it back in middle school. It's just like, hey, maybe you get it, maybe you don't. So eventually we started getting to the Japan section, specifically learning about old school Japan and like the provinces and territories in there way back in the day and just kind of shit like that. Now the reason most people liked this teacher was, one, because he was very cool, but also because he would always do this kind of game when you reached the Japan section, and it was kind of a strategy style game. You go ahead and you had like your force and you had your currency, and your currency was also your food. But of course, if you had a bunch of soldiers, you had to feed your soldiers. So, if you had more soldiers, it would cost more currency to keep them alive. And then there's a bunch of like different areas of the map you could move them to or something like that. It was that kind of thing, It was basically a strategy game. It was like a Civilization style strategy game. And it was just beloved. Everyone thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And for me, now this was like Weird Bricky time. Weird Bricky was playing Command and Conquer every fucking day for the rest of his life. In Command and Conquer 3, Command and Conquer Kane's Wrath, you could not defeat me in Kane's Wrath against my black hand. My gnawed black hand would destroy you every single day. Your power plants and generators would fall very fast to my onslaught of goddamn avatars and flame tanks, alright? So naturally, I was looking at this like, yes, my time to shine. Because if you won, you got like extra credit and that kind of stuff. So I was just sitting there like, oh yeah, we're gonna fuck people up. We are going to fuck people up. Oh dear! Fuck! Okay, this is awkward. Yeah! Oh shit! Yeah! Yeah! I get paired up with like a mutual acquaintance, someone who's not really your friend, so to speak, but just like, you're cool with. And then 4 of the other, like, really attractive girls in the class. Now, the problem is that, 1, they were all very attractive people, so I was looking at them just like, it's my fucking spaghetti. But at the same time, they really didn't know how to play it like a strategy thing like this, and they really didn't like care about the extra credit. So in a sense, it really just came down to me to do all the work. And I was totally okay with that. I was like, fuck yeah, this sounds awesome. I can be the one who leads my team to victory and does that kind of thing. You know, I was like top tier strategist. You know, I was looking at all the other teams, thinking about what they're gonna do, watching their patterns, being all tactical and shit, getting really close to find out what, okay, where are they gonna go, where are they gonna run to, what's gonna happen. It was fantastic. We were playing well. I was like doing excellently. The strategies that we're doing were fantastic. It was working out perfectly. Everything was going well. The way the game works is that you have a home base, of course, and you had like your little army, and you basically have to send that army to destroy the home base. Once the home base is destroyed, you get to then control the person you destroyed's army. So generally the best idea was to like kind of send out feelers to go and explore the area and stuff like that while keeping a lot of them at your home base, just in case they get attacked. Now our neighboring nation was kind of a little bit, they were just kind of subtle. They just kind of sat there and didn't really do much. And so they were close, but they weren't like that close to where I could pursue them as a threat. And so we just kind of like did our thing, did our expansion. We were pretty damn solid. I sucked up to the teacher so much. I helped him out before class and everything like that just so I could get more money to buy more troops. It was hilarious. And so eventually, after all of this happens, after we accumulate the whole thing, I get sick. You know, I just don't feel very well. And I have to miss out on a class. Now, this luckily wasn't a day that we had to go ahead and do this kind of game. So I was sick, and I wasn't feeling well. And I eventually finally felt better to go back into class. And once I did, I decided I didn't want to go back into class. Because I was like, you know when you're sick and you're still feeling sick and you feel like you could go back to school, but at the same time you kind of don't want to. So you're just like, you just kind of like fake it for one more day, basically. You know how that kind of goes? That's basically what I did. I was like, I can stay home one more day. So I decided to take the day off, you know, which was totally fine with me. I was just like, whatever, no need to deal. Oh, wow, there's like no one in this game. Yeah. So I took that day off and I came back to class the next day. And when I came back to class, I looked at the board. And on the board was this nice little line drawn of our neighboring nation's pegs. A fuckload of those soldiers drawn right directly into our base. What they were doing is they were amassing a ridiculous amount of money because they had few troops and they just didn't bother anyone, so no one kind of bothered them. And so when they amassed this ridiculous amount of money, when I was gone, and apparently my buddy, the other one who was actually okay at strategy and stuff, was also gone, they spent it all on soldiers and completely 100% blew through all of our defenses and wiped us out. Now there's a good chance we could have stopped them. There's a great chance we could have stopped them if me or my other like mutual acquaintance was there, but he was also sick. He also called off sick on the same day, so all that was left was with all like the really popular hot girls that didn't really give a shit about actually like playing the game, and so we lost. I remember coming back and looking at that goddamn scream with all of our like soldiers turned to the enemy side and just that line of enemy soldiers going and taking our base and just staring at that and looking at, I just had my face like not like this. I was so salty. I was so fucking angry. And everyone knew I was Mr. Tryhard Pants. So as soon as I got back, they all looked at me like, how's he gonna react? How's he gonna react? What's gonna happen, huh? What's he gonna do? It was easily the saddest moment I've ever had in middle school. I was so upset about that. I spent so much time strategizing and trying so hard for a measly 10 fucking points of extra credit. It was so dumb and it was so silly and I was so depressed for the rest of the class. I just sat there with like my head in my hands like, no, why now? Why like this? Why do bad things happen to good people? It was such a silly day. Anyway, I hope you enjoy watching this little video. I always have a couple of these kind of silly childhood stories that I like to talk about, and I thought it would be kind of fun to share it a little bit. So, my name's Brick York today. Thanks so much for watching, and oh hey, sniper rifle with red tiger on it. Ooh, let's see if I can get a sniper kill first. Oh dear, I can't see. Where is this guy? Oh, okay, never mind. I'm gonna go now. Bye bye.